Hello and welcome to Alternate Ending, where we are still discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm your host for this week's episode, Brennan Klein, and with me are two familiar voices. First off, we have Cameron Shaw. Welcome back, Cameron. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, thank you, and it's good to be back. Happy New Year. Few weeks late, not a few
Yes,
years late.
yes. Happy New Year, everybody. And Andrew, is this your first show since the new year? We have Andrew Milne with us also. Hello.
I think this is my first show since the new year. Yes, thank you. Happy New Year. I'm a little bit frazzled this evening. I just got back up from London in a what was supposed to be a 5 hour trip turned into a 14-hour trip.
Oh,
So
Hot damn.
yeah, so that was a bit of an odyssey, but we made it back in the end, and I'm ready to record.
Yes, and your reward for your journey is talking about the cinema of February 2026.
lucky you.
Yes,
Lucky
we
all of us.
Oh my goodness. Yes, we are gathered here today to discuss our or to do our February 2026 preview, but first let's do the movie roundtable, catch up on some titles we've been watching since the last time you heard from us. Andrew, what are you bringing to the table today?
Okay, so I had a couple of movies that were sort of like my short list for this episode today. One that I was considering was I watched the 1966 Western Django by Sergio Corbucci, which
Oh.
provided the title for Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained. Also, this theme song, which slaps. Um, Considered it ultimately not what I'm bringing to the table today. Um, Even though I liked it, I wanted to go with a film that I didn't like, but I think is a lot more interesting from a sort of special interest, sort of niche perspective.
And that
So,
is perfect for alternate ending. Hit us with it.
absolutely, yes. That's what we're going for here. So this is a film from 2018, which I'd meant to catch up with for a long time, but only just recently pulled the trigger on. This is a music biopic. And for anyone who just rolled their eyes among the listenership out there, this is also a music biopic that is currently available to watch on the streaming service Fodder. So let me explain.
Huh.
This is the movie Lords of Chaos, directed
Oh.
by Jonas Åkerlund, which is an account, a sort of potted history of the development of the black metal scene between 1987 and 1994 in Norway, um, told through the story of the band Mayhem. Um, we get introduced to frontman Oystein Arseth. There are a lot of Norwegian names that I'm going to butcher here, and I apologize in advance for that. Who is better known these days by his stage name Euronymous, who in the process of forming his band Mayhem and his record label Death Like Silence, out of his parents' garage, basically in the late 80s in suburban Norway, um, sort of set out to create the most badass, most metal, most misanthropic scene on Earth, a sort of response to all the sort of posers and all the phonies out there in the world. And in the process, sort of bumbled into becoming an actual terrorist cell.
Oh, I feel
So
like you maybe talked about this before, or at least like this concept.
I might have alluded to this like in passing, certainly. So if you've ever heard of like the sort of cliche of like Scandinavian church burning black metal, this is where that comes from. This is the actual story behind all that. What happened was, so Euronymous, who's played in the film by Rory Culkin, actually really
Oh.
well, I have to say.
Hmm.
He's
Yeah.
he's sort of leveraging that sort of pallid, like almost a little bit corpse-like um affect you get from the Culkin siblings.
Yeah, there's an
He is
eeriness
jo
there, yeah.
Yeah. I
there
mean,
there isn't there is something a little bit like ghoulish, a little bit about their family's countenance. Um
have you seen The
Begins
Good Son?
I love The
I
Good
I do
Son.
too. It's a great
I'm
movie.
aware of The Good Son. I've seen clips. I've not seen the film itself, but yeah,
Uh,
it's pulling on the same sort of energy as
mhm.
that. So he is in the process of starting out his band Mayhem in the late 80s, when he's joined by Christian um Christian Vikernes, better known these days by his stage name Varg. This is one of the sort of affectations of the black metal scene. Everyone has like these sort of like very highfalutin like stage names.
Okay.
Um, and he is sort of taking the sort of lyrics of Mayhem very literally and very seriously, and essentially accepting it as this call to rebellion against everything sort of liberal and capitalistic and humanistic about modern society, and essentially treats this music scene as a kind of crusade against like Christendom and everything it stands for. And the film plays out as this sort of battle of wills between Oystein and Christian, one of whom is sort of like essentially playing a character. Like he's sort of um play he's playing for the cheap seats. He's just essentially saying edgy shit to sell records. Whereas Varg really believes it. He's the one who's sort of like the true believer. And this ultimately leads to a lot of lethal violence. And this all actually happened. It's a very salacious story that anyone who's sort of like interested in metal music is sort of familiar with. Um, the interesting thing about this movie is the director. Jonas Åkerlund, if that's a name you're not familiar with, he was behind the really, truly dreadful Netflix action movie Polar with Mads Mikkelsen from a few years ago. Um, if you haven't seen it, don't. It's dreadful. Lords of Chaos is better than that. But what's really interesting about Jonas Åkerlund is that before he was a movie director, he was a director of music videos, and before that, he was actually one of the founding members of Bathory, the Swedish band, who were in their time actually a crucial influence on Mayhem.
Do you know
So
if
the actual
I'm sorry. Never mind.
Go
Continue.
ahead. So so basically, the events of this movie, like the musicians depicted in this movie, were directly drawing on influence from the director of this biopic, essentially, which is something that got really downplayed in the movie's marketing, and which I find kind of fascinating because the kind of angle that the film finds on its subjects is basically like, look at this pack of absolute fucking dorks, like this
Mhm.
these just overprivileged children who don't know how good they have it, like posing at being like these badass sort of like Norse satanic warriors, um, who ultimately all end up either dead or in jail. And
Wow.
like it seems to find a lot of not a lot of sympathy, but a lot of Schadenfreude in their story. I think that's a legitimate angle to approach it from, and given the sort of authority that Jonas Åkerlund has on this topic, I'm inclined to sort of like trust his read on it. I think the problem with it is that it uses a lot of quite hackneyed storytelling devices. It's essentially doing Fight Club. Like
Mm.
these kids get in over their heads in this sort of atavistic return to masculinity, and in the process sort of like bumblefuck ass over tit into this essentially like white supremacist agenda, and ultimately it ends up in tragedy, and nobody ends up happier for it. I think it's a fascinating story. I think there's stuff here that a good director could do something with. Weirdly enough, what I came away with was I would love to see Damien Chazelle's take
Mm.
on this same story. I
Needs more
think
brass. He's probably not interested.
Yeah.
maybe not. But I think Akerlund, despite like the sort of closeness he has to the topic, is kind of he's just not a great director. Like that, I think that's
Oh.
sort of the long and the short of it. He falls back on a lot of cliches and a lot of sort of montage. And the weird thing is he doesn't really seem interested in the music. Like the
Hmm.
actual um what drew these people to this scene in the first place, like sort of gets glossed over. There's a lot of narration, there's a lot of montage, and all the sort of scenes of people actually at gigs or recording in studio kind of gets it's all presented very indifferently,
Hmm.
which I think sort of harms the subject matter and ends up just being this sort of bullet point of this happened and then this happened and then this happened. So ultimately, I don't think it really works, but I think there is a version of this story that it like could be really psychologically complex and could be really psychologically interesting, and this just isn't quite there.
That's a
Hmm.
bummer. It sounds like a kind of average, how you're describing it just sounds like an average music biopic, even though it's about a
Yeah.
very dark story from someone who was like kind of involved in it. So it should be more textured and interesting. That's kind of a bummer.
You would hope so. Like I just don't think he has the storytelling instincts that the instincts for editing and for writing
Hmm.
to bring across the kind of complexity and the mysticism involved in and what got these people so hooked in and um attracted to this sound in this sort of 7 year span where it was so it was a real phenomenon at the time. And looking back on it, it was like just what the hell were we thinking back in the early 90s?
Yeah. Huh.
You could say that about a lot of things.
That is true.
Yeah.
But
Um,
Cameron, well, yeah. Oh, sorry. We're gonna say something.
I'm sorry I interrupted you in the middle there, Andrew, but do you have any idea if the band Bathory was named after the Hungarian noblewoman serial killer Elizabeth Bathory?
They they very much were. Yes.
Excellent. That's so cool.
There's a song on their 1987 album called Woman of Dark Desires, and it is the best tribute to Elizabeth Bathory I've ever heard in song.
Oh,
I mean, how many are there? That's great.
I'm
I
sure
might need
there's
A
to
more
find
than
them.
few,
you'd
more
think.
than you'd think. Yeah.
I mean, she is somebody that somebody should make a movie about, I will say. Um,
I think there's more than of those than you'd think as well.
oh, really?
Not
Okay.
good
Yeah,
ones,
or at
but
least things
they're out there.
inspired by her for sure.
Somebody should make a good movie about that.
That yeah. But
Yeah.
Cameron, are you bringing a
Yes.
good movie to the round table today?
I believe that I'm bringing a good movie. Some people might disagree. I've seen a lot of movies recently. I think, actively dissociating from the world by diving into to cinema. And so the most recent theater movie that I've seen is Sirāt, which I'm sure many people in Europe have seen. Many of our listeners in Europe have seen. And it sort of just recently came out here. I don't even know that it's currently playing in the Bay Area, but there was one screening last week that ended up being completely packed, which was a great way to see it. So this is a Spanish movie directed by Oliver Lax, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. I actually don't know. But it's Laxe. And it is about the log line for this is essentially a father and his son go looking for their missing sister slash daughter in the desert. That's not verbatim, but that's about the log line at a desert rave in northern Africa. I believe it's in Morocco. And um, a lot more than that happens, but that's the log line because they don't want to give anything away. So I'm also going to try to not give anything away. Um, but suffice it to say, it's about a lot more than just what what they present on the poster and in trailers. Um, I liked this movie that is very unpleasant a whole lot, and it's hard to say, hey, go see this unpleasant movie, but if you're a fan of like atmosphere and vibes and really spectacular spectacular Super 16 cinematography. In the desert, you should absolutely see it. It's the score is insane. It's like, you know, rave music score,
Mhm.
and I think it's getting a lot of attention, which I'm happy about because I would be really stoked to see somebody interesting win Best Score at the Oscars instead of, you know, John Williams or somebody for the 97th time.
Mm.
Um, no shade there, but I like it when there's a bit of an upset.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, there's a lot of raving in the beginning, and then it kind of trickles off, and then it comes back later in a really bizarre way. There's some very upsetting things that happen. I think that this is one of the best movies that I've seen in the last like 6 months. I was kind of blown
Wow.
away by it. And I know a lot of people don't like it because it's a little too bleak and slow, but I feel like a lot of listeners to this podcast would really appreciate it for what it is. There are also mostly non-actors, and that is something that I usually really hate because I find that they generally are directed to not emote.
Mhm.
And that is not the case here. Um, it seems like a lot of people use non-actors for the sake of being artsy, and in this case, they used them for the sake of finding people who actually look like they could fit in with raver culture, and
Mhm.
they are great. Like it's a very eclectic group of people, and so outside of the dad and the kid and the dog, there's I'm sure a trained actor dog. Um, they are all non-actors, and that was really a refreshing way to see this presented because, a named actor pretending to be a raver is not
Mm.
exactly, it's not something I care to see at all.
Yes, it
So
probably feels like Zac Efron and the Beach Bum or something like that.
Right, right,
yeah,
exactly.
I'm just going to say, Cameron, I only heard of this movie for the first time a few days ago, as of the time of recording, and I did see a review on Letterboxd, which is one of
Hmm.
the several reviews I've seen of this film that have got me psyched to see it. This is like,
You saw my
and
review
it
on
was
Letterboxd? Oh, cool.
I did
Ah,
see yours, yes, and
cool.
yeah, this is at time of recording, this is one of my most anticipated films of
Yeah.
2026. Like
If you can
really I'm really excited for this.
if you can see it in a theater, like there are some moments where just everybody gasps and doesn't, there are a couple things where you have no idea what's coming, and if you can see it with people, I think that is the way to go.
That's
Kind of like a
that's the
horror movie.
consensus I've been hearing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems to be like the sound seems to be a major part of it, and like it seems to be one you want to be sort of trapped with in an enclosed space.
Yeah, like
And
a surround sound system is a good thing for this.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's 100% my vibe. Like rave culture in the desert against this sort of apocalyptic background, like that is very much my sort of energy. So I intend to see this in a theater as soon as I possibly can, if I possibly can.
Cool.
Excellent. And
Yeah,
okay.
there are a lot of movies that it like also reminded me of, so and I'm sure that you'll probably have the same reaction, but like Fury Road
Yeah,
and Beau Travail and all sorts of there's a lot of references, whether or not they
I've
were
been hearing
intended, I don't know.
comparisons to like Gaspar Noé,
Yeah,
stuff
I
like
am not
Enter
a
the Void.
Gaspar Noé person, so I can't speak to that because I have studiously avoided his movies. But
Fair.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
can't fault anyone for avoiding his movies.
yeah.
yeah, and the energy of this movie sounds a little less on my wavelength, but I am curious about it. It was produced by Pedro Almodovar, who is my one of my two favorite
Ooh.
directors.
Hmm.
And is he one of my favorite producers? Not really. But I'm that has me curious, and people have been saying good things about it, and the people who are saying mixed things about it are interesting mixed things. So I'll probably check this out. And but yes, the movie that I'm bringing to the table is a little less. I'd say less of an Oscar contender. I'm here to talk about 2025's The Housemaid. Um,
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
yeah, it is the new thriller adaptation from Paul Feig, who previously made A Simple Favor. This one adapts the Frida McFadden novel of the same name that I have not read, but from what I've heard from my family who has read it, I think maybe the movie's an improvement on the at least
Oh,
the thematic material in the novel.
okay.
Um, but haven't read it myself. Anyway, so this is another one that's like you really only give the log line, and because it's a twisty turny kind of thriller, and you don't want to over spoil it. But it stars Sydney Sweeney as Millie, who is a young parolee who really needs to get a job, or else she's going to go back to jail. The job that she gets is as a housemaid for a rich family. She kind of in a parasite light way scams her way into this job. Um, but anyway, she has this. There's this. The mom of the family is Amanda Seyfried. There's a new way to pronounce her name that we haven't been doing, and I
Amanda
haven't.
Seyfried?
Isn't it Seyfried? Yeah,
No,
I
people are like people have switched to saying like Seyfried or something, and I think I don't know.
Seyfried.
No. Although she is great in it, she's having a lot of fun. It is a chewing the scenery kind of performance. But yeah, so she seems really nice at first, but then as soon as Millie gets the job, things go very weird with her, and she's very possessive of her hot tech billionaire, maybe millionaire, whatever, rich dude husband played by Brandon Sklenar, who I was not familiar with, but he is very jacked, so good for him. Um, but yeah, so it's like, oh, this couple might have a secret or two in their giant house that this woman is now living in. Um, yeah, it's pretty solid. I think s- I don't want to dismiss Sydney Sweeney as an actor wholesale based on her work in the final scene of Immaculate. Like, I think sh-
Hmm.
she has done a scene that I have liked. Um, Housemaid does not have any of those.
oh.
Um, she's fine. Like, but she kind of vacillates between the like very vacant kind of vocal fry thing that she does, and then sometimes it seems like, oh, she's awake in this scene. Um, I don't think she ruins the housemaid. I don't think the housemaid is really eminently ruinable. It's doing the thing that you kind of expect this kind of movie to do. Just in terms of like, there's twists and turns, and it's soapy and it's trashy, and like it's hard to ruin that. It does get a little bit aimless in the late first act, early second act, where things are happening, but not in a way that feels like there's a thrust to a mystery going on. It's just like, oh, that's weird. Oh, that's also weird. And it just feels like a long collage of things that gets a little dull. But once it gets into gear, it's pretty fun. I had a good time with it. And that's The Housemaid. Have either of you seen this movie?
Not yet, no.
No.
I'm curious, like the sort of like pulpy, trashy, eat the rich films are kind of like they usually go down quite easily.
Yeah. And it's Paul Feig is pretty good at making these movies. I think A Simple Favor is
Hmm.
still the best of his thrillers. But this is
Mhm.
better than the sequel to A Simple Favor that also came out last year.
Another simple favor, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
A
yeah.
So
Simple
my
Favor
my
was great. Like
Mhm.
that's a
yeah.
good recommendation to see this, and yet I started the book because I had many friends who liked the book and I did not get very far. So, yeah, it was not my kind of thing.
Yeah, you might like the movie more. Like I said, I got the sense from everything I heard about the book that the book sounds kind of like a waste of time to me. No offense if
Hmm.
you love the book. I haven't read it. I cannot judge. I might read it at some point. Uh, but I feel like the movie was pretty satisfying taken on its own. Um, but yeah, we are now caught up with the cinema of yesteryear, and that I can say that because it is now 2026. But let's take a look forward. Let's do our
Okay.
February preview. We have a lot of wide releases coming in February, although I think a lot of them, looking at a lot of them on this list, I kind of want to just I want to do a push like in Blackjack, like just like moving on, pass. I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Um, but let's start with the first weekend of the month. We've got February 6th. Um, First off, we have The Strangers, Chapter 3, which is the third installment in Rennie Harlin's trilogy set in the Strangers universe. Have either of you seen either of the first two Strangers chapter blank movies?
I had
So,
never even
so,
heard of this franchise, so no.
Okay.
so I saw the original Strangers from 2008
Uh-huh.
last year,
Oh, okay.
and I really, 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 really liked it. I actually
Oh,
thought
cool.
the original Strangers, not the current series that we're got going on right now. I thought it was great. I also thought like there's no call for a sequel or a franchise or
No.
like IP management for this. I don't know anything about the current Strangers trilogy, and I see that Harlan is involved, and alarm bells go off.
Yeah. So I have seen all of the Strangers movies so far. So yeah, for Cameron and for people who don't know, The Strangers is well, it's this 2008 independent home invasion movie about three
Hmm.
masked strangers who show up at a couple's house and torment them. It's very simple. It's very pared down. It made a big splash in the horror scene in the late 2000s.
It's
Um,
very elemental.
yes.
Yeah, it's like the most fundamental version of its sort of premise.
That sounds fun. The trailer that I watched did not look fun in the slightest
Yeah. Well,
for
okay.
this
Well,
third
first,
one.
the original Strangers, not a movie that I love, but a movie that I think is objectively good. That one's not fun. It's very bleak. Um,
Oh,
Hmm.
but it has a sequel called The Strangers Prey at Night that came out in like 2018. I think that movie is a hell of a lot of fun. That movie is like it is the it is the what if this was a franchise type thing, uh and it kind of is just a one of those sequels that is just a and kind of a remake essentially, just putting new people through the
Hmm.
same thing, and it's a bit more 80s inspired and people running around this kind of creepy empty like mobile home park. That was a lot of fun. But anyway, so last year, the year I think it was 2024 is the first of Rennie Harlan's The Strangers series. And this is just it's another kind of in name only remake, but it's also trying to like explain the origin of the killers, which let me tell you, they're strangers, and that's the point. I don't need to know who they are. Um, and so it is kind of it fundamentally misunderstands the thing that this is supposed to be, and also the idea of coming into coming to theaters knowing you have a trilogy and hoping that people go to see it is kind of consistently a mistake. I think Tim and I recently talked about this with I mean, we were talking about Kevin Costner's
28 years
Horizon
later?
saga.
Oh
Oh,
no,
and 20 years. Oh,
the other one.
yeah, we talked about it when we were talking about 28 years later, but he brought up the Kevin Costner Horizon. Like, we're not getting the final Horizon movie. We're not getting the third 28 years later movie. Um, they at least were a little smarter with the Strangers movies in that they just shot them all at once for no money. So they exist and they will make whatever money they make. The first one was kind of boring bad. The second one was kind of dumb bad mixed with boring bad. I hope the third one is just dumb bad. I will be seated. I will be seeing this in theaters. But they are really outrageously bad movies.
Well, the
Okay,
the
so
last
skip
Rennie
this one.
Harlan, the last Rennie Harlan movie I remember seeing was The Legend of Hercules, all the way back in 2014,
Oh, that's
where
the Kellen Lutz one, right?
Helen Lutz as Hercules, who fights Scott Adkins as Amphitryon, which is like that's direct to video gold right there, and it's just
Hmm.
gloriously terrible as that sounds.
Yeah, I mean, these are not gloriously terrible just yet, but it seems like this is a seven-car pileup of bad decisions, and I keep I'm hoping that if they add a couple more to this and it gets more texture, because the first two movies were tended towards bland more than anything.
It feels like we're in the sort of like midst of the Thorn trilogy of the Strangers movies at this point,
Oh
perhaps.
God, maybe. Yeah, and especially in terms of over-explaining something that did not need any sort of explaining.
Yeah.
Um, but
I
yes,
really wanted this to be like a film adaptation of Camus' The Stranger, and it's not, it sounds like.
no, I would not say so. But yeah, also
That
coming
has
out
been
up
made. That
Yeah,
exists.
no, it has been
There's a
made, but
William Hurt movie. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
probably better than The Strangers Chapter 3, but I will let you all know. I'm gonna see it. But yeah, February 6th, we're also getting Solo Mio, a Kevin James dramedy, and I'm gonna say push on this one. Does anyone want to talk about this?
I mean, this looks
Bush.
like Under the Tuscan Sun starring Kevin James. Like, no.
No,
I
no, no, no,
mean,
no.
I might watch it on a plane. That's how I feel about that.
Got it. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like his dramedies have a higher hit rate than his pure comedies. Um,
I
Hmm.
get the impression that Kevin James is kind of having a moment. Like, didn't he have that Amazon Prime like direct to like VOD thing that just recently with
with
oh man,
Alan
what's the guy who
Richardson.
plays Alan Richardson? Yeah, I always think of him as like somebody inflated Chris Pratt.
Ha.
Um, but I get the impression because he was in Adam Sandler's orbit for a lot of years, wasn't he?
Oh, for sure.
And
Yeah.
he, I think like the thing that he's doing like with his face and his facial hair in this sort of trailer that I've seen, I get the impression that he's sort of like trying to leverage more dramatic weight and more sort of like middle-aged ennui, the way that Sandler did in Uncut
Yeah.
Gems. I don't think this is going to get the sort of pull of a Safdie Brothers movie.
I wouldn't think so. Um,
Mm-mm.
and I will say I love Under the Tuscan Sun. I think that's a great movie. And if they can hit at the level of that movie, great. Good for them.
Yeah.
For
Don't think
sure.
We'll
that
see.
they
We'll
might.
see. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next weekend of the month. We've got on February 13th, we've got a lot of at least wide-ish releases. A lot of great movies for Valentine's Day dates, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, first we've got the new Gore Verbinski movie, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. It's a oh fuck, it's Sam Rockwell, right? As like a guy who
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
claims he's from the
So
future and he's trying to prevent a calamity.
Yes.
So, like I have had a bad hit rate on these preview episodes so far. Like I remember this time last year, roughly, I was singing the praises of Mickey 17 and how much I was looking forward to that.
Listen,
But
we
I'm
all
I'm
made
gonna
that mistake. That wasn't
yeah,
just
I
you. I think we were all excited.
I think so. Yeah, like
Yeah.
so we were like taken in, but I'm gonna stick my neck out once again. I'm psyched for Good Luck. Um, don't die. It's like I realized I think in the process of watching this trailer, I think I'm kind of ride or die for Gore Verbinski.
I
Okay.
am too. I feel you. Like
Yeah,
everything he
I
does is
love
fun in some capacity.
yeah
Yes.
like even the films that I don't think work. Like I don't love A Cure for Wellness. I don't love his Pirates of the Caribbean sequels, but like even the sort of like second two films of the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy, like they're still ambitious and grand and they have a lot of like joie de vivre that you don't get from the sort of subsequent movies in that franchise. I think everything he does has this sort of maximalism and like just zest for cinema that I think he's kind of undersung as an auteur. I
I
I
think he
I
has yes. Sorry, go ahead.
just generally, yeah, I'm kind of there for whatever he's doing.
I feel like he has a really interesting flair for character design, and that will get
Mm,
me in. And like I realized this when I saw Rango, and Rango felt so much like a Pirates of the Caribbean movie starring lizards, animated lizards. And I was like, this is weird that this feels so similar, and yet the way he presents characters, especially bad guys, is very similar to the first Pirates movie, which I feel like is a great
yeah,
movie. So yeah, I haven't seen all of his movies by any means, but I do think he's a lot of fun and is at least a visually
yeah,
creative person, and that sometimes, especially in a month like February, is all it will take for me. So yeah.
for sure. I
Yeah.
think his Mouse Hunt is probably it might be one of the best like translations of cartoon logic into live action that I've ever seen.
Hmm. I have not seen that. Okay.
Me neither, but
Noted.
I've heard terrific things. And yes, visually, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die looks pretty great. I'm a
Yeah.
little I mean, the Gore Verbinski, does it get me in the door? Not necessarily, but it makes me interested. Um, but also it seems like it's kind of about like, oh, evil AI. And I feel like humanity's relationship to AI and the terror of that is moving so fast
Hmm.
that a new movie about it, and certainly one because this movie's been kicking around festivals for a while, like
Mm.
I think it might be a little too late to the conversation. Like I
Oh,
feel like
Kind of
interesting.
firing at a moving target. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I just feel like any movie that you're trying to make about this topic, if it's not allegorical in some way, it's gonna feel a little bit like we've had this conversation already. Like the COVID stuff that started coming out in the mid 2020s, like Judd Apatow's The
Last year.
Bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, oh, we did
Eddington.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm worried it's like that, but that's not the worst thing in the world to be. But
Mhm.
I think that might mean that it might take a couple of years for it to like really click with me. Like where everything feels more like it's we're looking at it in the past and it's kind of compressed together more on the
I,
timeline.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
just to play devil's advocate though, I feel like maybe you and I and people who are very online understand that conversation about AI that does not necessarily translate to the whole of America who might only think about that based on a movie like this that they see
Okay.
on TV at their house via Amazon Prime or something. So I agree that that conversation is speeding ahead of perhaps anybody who's saying any particular thing about it in movie format, but there are always people who are completely oblivious to that, to whatever current conversation is happening. So
Oh, that is very
it
true.
it
Mm.
could be a good thing in the long run, is my point. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope this is something. I don't have a sense of if it's gonna connect. And that doesn't mean it's good or bad. But I'm curious.
Hmm.
I don't
Something.
expect it to succeed. I'm going to put my neck out on
Yeah.
that one. I, I don't think it's going to make money. I
No.
think my ticket will be one of the few ones that are bought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll see.
and a movie that I don't think will make money, but if it does, it will prove how out of touch I am. The animated movie Goat, about a goat, an anthropomorphic goat playing basketball. It was produced by, I think,
Steph Curry.
yeah,
Steph
Steph Curry.
Curry.
Yeah, yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Like this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Oh
And
yeah.
I
No.
love Steph Curry. I am a bandwagon Warriors fan. They are my home basketball team, and when they do well, I like to watch them. But I don't need Steph Curry to produce movies, let alone basketball movies. Like that's weird. I don't.
He's
Yeah, and
basically getting the climax of Space Jam um, rendered as a feature-length movie now.
yeah, but just with animals and not with Looney Tunes and aliens and
Yeah,
whatever.
seems like it.
Yeah.
And it's this is
I
the
don't,
first post Stranger Things bid for Caleb McLaughlin. Or I actually
Ah.
have never tried to say his last name out loud. I hope I said it right. Um, but good luck to everyone.
There
Uh,
is a moment in that trailer that I laughed at, which is and it went by very quickly, so maybe I have it wrong, but I think there's a fan who is a cat in the stands and they're drinking like a Slurpee, but they're licking it up like out of a bowl. I laughed at
oh,
that, I
that's
will
pretty
say.
cute.
But yeah.
okay.
So who knows? Maybe it's
What I
great.
what I
Yeah.
will say is I think after K-pop Demon Hunters, I am kind of like over the hump with Sony Pictures Animation and their sort of like limited frame rate style that they're doing.
Mm.
Um
Yeah,
yeah, it's
I saw this and I was
like
like, ooh, this is like a bad ripoff of the Sony Pictures thing, but it is a Sony Pictures movie.
it is, yeah, it's one of those. I don't know. It was cool when Into the Spider-Verse did it. I think I'm kind of over it. I'd rather just have like clean 24 frames per second. Thank you very much.
I agree. Hmm.
Yeah, unless you're like doing something really specific with it, which this movie doesn't. It feels like it's chasing, well, it's chasing that trend while also just kind of like it's throwing a lot of spaghetti at the wall. I just don't know what this
Hmm.
even is.
Yeah.
But maybe kids are gonna love it. I don't know. Um, but yes, the movie that I'm gonna go see on February, the weekend of Valentine's
Oh
Day,
yes.
is Emerald Fennell's Wuthering Heights adaptation
Yeah.
starring Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. Um, Cameron, are you interested in this movie?
I am interested in this movie. I will see this movie. I feel like Jacob Elordi is massively miscast. Um,
Hmm.
and if for no other reason that Heathcliff in that book, and granted, I haven't read that book since college, but Heathcliff is not supposed to be the sexiest person alive. Like
Got it.
that,
Yeah, so that is a
he's supposed to
mistake.
be weird looking. Yeah, that's a mistake. I don't even think Jacob Elordi is the sexiest person alive. However, he is very attractive, and So that feels weird. He's supposed to be like a um strange, like your neighbor next door who never got very cute kind of guy. Um, they also are billing this movie as the greatest love story of all time, and I would disagree with that. But I will see it because I like a good windswept moor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you,
So,
Andrew?
so
As the
the
person
thing
who's
for
closest to the
Yeah.
moors.
as the person who's closest to the Moors. Okay, so my thing, just when you were talking there, Cameron, I was getting flashbacks to the this famous scene from Peep Show where it's like Wuthering Heights isn't a love story, it's a fucking fuck
Yes.
story.
Yes.
Which which
Exactly.
is yeah. That I think my thing with Emerald Fennel, yeah, I didn't see promising young woman, but I did see Saltburn. And
Hmm.
there's um there's a great scene early in Saltburn where there's one of the sort of like wealthy, like landed gentry characters, just like casually in conversation says, like, "Where is Liverpool?" And I just like that was sort of like the moment that it clicked in my head, like, oh, this is not a serious movie. This is not a serious filmmaker. And that's sort of the register I absorbed every subsequent minute of Saltburn in, and that's sort of where Wuthering Heights feels to me. It's like it this is exactly going for the same sort of register as Fifty Shades of Grey. It's going for Twilight. Um,
Hmm.
that's where it's sort of looking to land. And I think in Fennel's, to her credit, I think she can compose a really nice image. I think that there I think she's a great composer of album covers. I think she would be a really good like music video director. So on that level, sure, like I find this more stimulating to look at than a lot of the other films coming out this month. Will I see it in cinemas? Probably not. I might catch it on streaming down the line, but it should be fun for people who are marked for this sort of thing.
And oh am I have not read Wuthering Heights, so I do not come with the baggage of that, which I think
Hmm.
might benefit me. I think people are who are big lit girlies are not that excited about the kind of like hornification of Wuthering Heights, and I'm like, it is my understanding that that's a very horny book, so I don't know what people are on about
Yeah.
with that. But I think applying that kind of like weird but not too weird kind of Emerald Fennell erotic obsession to the story of Wuthering Heights is exactly what I want from that. From my like historical romance adaptations. Like this is to a smaller degree, but I really like when eroticism or just humanity, like the idea of like you exist in a body and there are gross things that happen and there are hot things that happen that aren't talked about in a lot of adaptations of literature from this period.
Hmm.
There's a similar thing that Autumn de Wilde does in her 2020 adaptation of Emma with Anya Taylor-Joy, where it's like you see Mr. Knightley like take off his clothes in a rage at one point, and there's a part where like Anya Taylor-Joy as Emma is like warming her butt on the fire, and there are these. I like things that admit that people in these period clothing or like in the period would do things that humans do. They had sex back then. They
Hmm.
had bodies back then. They took a
Yeah.
shit back then. You know, like there
Yeah.
are
It
all of
wasn't all
those things.
stuffy and like perfect drawing room scenes. Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. I
Yeah.
feel like in that sense, this adaptation could be great because like I said, I don't think that this is the greatest love story of all time. So positioning it on Valentine's Day and as a love story to me is strange. So I think if it is as horny as you were hoping, then that would be more fun.
Yeah.
I
And
also think though maybe Andrew, it takes itself a lot more seriously than you seem to think it is. So I'll be curious to see. I'll be curious. Basically,
Maybe
that's
it
where I
takes
land on
itself more
this.
seriously than I take it
well,
at
But
any rate.
that's fair. Yeah.
I
Okay.
I agree, Cameron. I think it's taking itself seriously, but I think it's taking itself seriously in more or less exactly the same way that Baz Luhrmann's The Great Gatsby took itself seriously.
Ooh,
That's a
and
good
that's
point of
Um,
reference.
yeah, it
I
is.
don't
Yeah.
It is.
thank you. I liked the Luhrmann Great Gatsby, at least in terms of its maximalism. Um, and this she's doing a Lerman thing. I really like. Look, I'm on the train for Emerald Fennell. I thought Promising Young Woman was pretty good. I loved Saltburn. Um, I think more like one of the best things about her is her sense with or her sensibility for what she chooses for her soundtracks.
Mm.
Like I thought the Stars Are Blind moment in Promising Young Woman was so good, and the music for Saltburn is really well placed. And the music for Wuthering Heights, it's original songs by Charlie XCX, which is feels
Oh,
like a strange choice.
Yeah, it really does. And yet at the same time could be really
Yeah.
interesting.
No,
Yeah,
I'm really excited about what that object is, like what this thing is going to be. And I don't know that I'm gonna love this movie, but I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna find out.
yeah, yeah, me too.
But yeah, also that weekend, date night for someone, Crime 101. Chris Hemsworth is a crime guy and he steals things along the 101 freeway. And Mark Ruffalo, he was in Marvel too. He's trying to catch him. Uh, are we excited about Crime 101?
I I watched this trailer, and this looks like a film that I would watch, but it will probably take me like 10 or 15 years to catch up with. Check in with me when I'm 47.
Okay.
I have no interest in this except that I don't remember the last time I've clocked Halle Berry in anything. I guess looking
Hmm.
at IMDb right now, the last thing I've seen her in was Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Oh
Whoa,
no, I
that's a
saw
long
John
time
Wick
ago.
Chapter 3. Yeah, that was
John Wick 3
2019.
was the last thing I
John Wick
really
3.
registered, yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, she's been 100% off my radar. So it was kind of nice to see her pop up, but I
Hmm.
don't need to see this movie now.
Fair play to her. She's aged really well.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
think
Oh, yes. Yes.
she's still got the sort of like movie star sizzle.
Oh yeah, she's
But
Yes.
such a glamorous person.
Yeah.
yes,
Man,
yeah.
I think maybe once every 2 months about that the wig she wore at the Oscars one year as a presenter. Matched with the dress. I don't know, it's really good. Anyway, yeah, Crime 101 seems boring. I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
No, I
No.
get like even like as the sort of like prime movie like watcher guy among us. Oh, Nick Nolte's in it. That's interesting. When was
Huh.
the last time we saw Nick Nolte in anything?
He
It's another
voiced one
plane
of the
movie.
aliens in The Mandalorian. I think that's the last time I saw him.
Oh Lord,
Gosh.
Yeah.
He,
for a given value of seeing him.
I feel like he was an animated character in something that looked, and the character looked like him, and now I
Huh.
can't remember what it
Oh,
was.
that sounds really
I
familiar.
know, right? Like what was that movie? I'm looking it up. You can
Okay.
continue.
Yeah. While you're looking it up, let's move on to February 20th. This is a weird weekend. So first we've got How to Make a Killing. It's a new A24 movie where Glenn Powell is like a an part of an ousted branch of a rich family. He grew up poor and he wants to kill his relatives to inherit their wealth.
Okay, so
Okay.
something that I think is kind of disingenuous about this is being marketed, about the way this is being marketed.
Okay.
This is a remake. Like this is
Is
straight up a
it?
remake. It's a remake of Kind Hearts and Coronets from 1948,
Oh my
which is
goodness.
Hmm.
which is a great movie, and it is acknowledged. Like you can look this up on Wikipedia. Like it's a direct influence. And do I want to see a remake of Kind Hearts and Coronets? I don't know. I think the 40s film did it pretty much perfectly at the first place. But I don't know. Glenn Powell's still like cultivating. He's aura farming, as they say
Huh.
these days.
Oh my. Um, sorry, yeah, Cameron.
No, well, first of all, I cannot find this animated Nick Nolte movie, so maybe I'm making it up. This movie was directed and shot by two people I went to grad school with. So
Oh,
Oh,
which is great, and I'm really glad that they are succeeding. The director is the guy who did Emily the Criminal, which I haven't seen, but I hear is good.
same
Um,
here.
and the DP is a great guy, so like it makes me really happy that they're making this big budget Glenn Powell movie. Um, it's not something I would probably see if I didn't know people involved. Like, but
Yeah,
it's kind of fun, the concept. I don't know.
I am intrigued to hear it's a remake of Kind Hearts and Coronets. I didn't pick up on that because I have not seen Kind Hearts and Coronets, but it's been like really high on my watch list since film school, and it's just one of those ones I haven't gotten around to.
Oh, it's
Um,
worth it. Like
oh yeah.
we got a week on Ealing Studios during my film course back in university, and that was the one they chose. So
Ooh, that's so
it's
cool.
yeah, yeah, for sure. It's a major text.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to. Anyway, but I feel like the dark comedy of this movie needs a really delicate directorial hand, and not having seen Emily the Criminal, I don't know this guy. But people really seem to like that movie, so I'm hoping
Hmm.
he kind of keeps that vibe up. And certainly, if I go to see a new movie that weekend, this is the one.
Yeah.
Because you know what? We also have Psycho Killer. It is.
Just Kassin.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm gonna call this long leg exploitation, and I'm gonna push on this one. I do not care. How about you, Andrew?
So my thing for this film, my only insight, my only note is that if it comes out and it's bad, there is a ready-made um there is a ready-made plan for every critic who doesn't like it, and that's run, 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 run away.
There you
Yeah,
Thank
go.
you. I'll be here all night.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, no, you gotta respect movies that welcome you to do things like that. But Cameron, how about you?
Yeah, no, I don't care either. Malcolm McDowell's in it. That was the only thing that was
Oh
vaguely
yeah, Malcolm
intriguing.
McDowell.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's not enough to get me there now.
you could pay Malcolm McDowell to show up at your birthday party at this
That's
point.
probably
Like,
true. Yeah.
he will do your movie. And I just don't know. That doesn't necessarily make me excited, though he is good most of the time still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's the best part in most of the movies he's in it at this point. Have you got around to the sort of like the alternate ending suing the devil discourse at
No,
this
not
point?
just yet. I mean, I've seen I'm aware of it. I've seen Tim's review and heard his podcast review, and it sounds very interesting. Have not gotten to that yet. But more
Me
more
neither, but
proof
I'm
that
gonna.
he will, he'd go to the opening of an envelope. Um, but yeah, also this weekend we have I Can Only Imagine 2. Are either of you aware that the first I Can Only Imagine existed? Do I need to tell?
No.
Okay.
No. I
No.
did a little sleuthing after seeing this trailer and thinking, what? What
Yeah.
is this? Yeah.
So I Can Only Imagine. I saw the trailer for this movie in theaters, and it was like the story of it was like, you know the song. Now learn the story behind the song. And I was so ready to learn what song I was going to learn the story of. And it turns out the song had been playing the whole time in the trailer,
Oh,
and
God.
I did not know it. Um, but yeah, so it's a Christian it is a contemporary Christian music song. It is a genre that I'm interested in, but not very involved in. As not as a Christian or as a not Christian. But so it's a song by the band Mercy Me, and it's basically a biopic of how that song came to be. Um, and it made a lot of money in
Okay. It
2018.
it made a lot of money in 2018. It domestic, it made $83.4 million dollars. The rest of the world, it made $1.8 million dollars. So this is an
Yeah.
American fucking movie, and
Oh yeah.
America is something, I will say. Like, yeah.
I
This
think
was the point I
maybe
was gonna make.
Yes.
maybe a lot of the problems we're currently having in America can be
Hmm.
directly traced back to the success of I
To
Can Only
this
Imagine.
movie.
So yeah, this is the
Yeah.
thing.
Um,
So for these recordings, listeners, we are working from the American release dates.
Yeah.
hmm,
This film, I will say, when I looked it up on the IMDb link that you sent me, Brennan,
uh-huh.
um, I saw the logline: Bart Millard, lead singer of Mercy Me, faces a personal crisis at the peak of his success. To which my response was, who lead singer of what?
Yeah.
And
That
Oh
was
yeah.
my response too, and I live in America, so
This is the kind of film that does not come out in the UK because people would make fun of it.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Um,
rightly so.
and yeah, this is not again, this is not an American phenomenon, but this is an American Christian phenomenon.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so I think it was only natural that it got a sequel. It's 8 years later, which is I mean, the pandemic happened between these two movies, so that might be part of it. I'm inclined to approve of this movie because it shouldn't exist. You shouldn't have a sequel to a movie about a song because what's it going to be about? The next song that they wrote? It's
Right. Like what? It makes zero sense. Is it a sequel song? Because sequel songs are kind of interesting
they
when they
are.
succeed. So like was there a sequel song? I didn't look that hard, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't look that hard either. But the idea of this thing is so strange that I'm very happy that it's out there. Not gonna see it. Didn't see the first one. I will watch shitty evangelical movies all the live long day, but these ones just seem so bland and just
Yeah,
all the edges sanded off.
this feels
Yeah.
like something MC Stefan would pass over.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It- yeah.
Okay.
There's Dennis Quaid in it. That's and
Yeah, another
Oh,
yeah.
that's something.
person who you can get in your movie.
Yeah, for peanuts. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the final weekend of February 2026. I will let other people talk about this first because I have my spiel as someone with a ghost face tattoo. I'm ready for Scream 7. But are either of you, let's start with you, Cameron. You're not as much of a horror person. Is Scream in your wheelhouse at all?
Okay, so Scream is in my wheelhouse. It is probably the first horror movie that I actively enjoyed
Ooh.
as a sixth grader. You guys probably know I see scary things and I don't sleep for days on end. So
Mm.
Mhm.
I haven't seen a Scream movie, I think, since Scream 4.
Okay.
And I don't really care to see this one. I appreciate, I guess, that um, there are some of the original people back in it.
Mhm.
I appreciate that Nev Campbell's daughter is named Tatum. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
And
sure.
but yeah, call back to Rose McGowan in the first one and like that's all it looks scary. It had some good moments in the trailer and I don't need to see that. Yeah.
Fair enough. How about you, Andrew?
So my thing is I've been a fan of pretty much all the Scream movies, which is something I was kind of surprised by. I marathoned the series maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I forget how long it's been. Which I kind of expected to find them a bit obnoxious, the way sort of like Tim has spoken about finding them. I
Well,
didn't. I
Tim
actually,
is a misanthropic asshole,
Yes.
as we know.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Can't
as am
trust
I. But
Tim.
I like them. I like the Scream formula. I found them fun as whodunits. I find them fun as sort of like genre riffs. What I have found is this sort of new era of Scream that started up with Scream 5
Mhm.
back in, was it
Yeah,
2022?
22.
Yeah. I feel like they're more effective as pure horror movies and pure whodunits and less so as genre commentary the way the originals were. I feel like that aspect of the series kind of feels vestigial now, and the more that they sort of lean into the sort of pure set pieces, the pure sort of tension building, they tend to be quite effective.
Mhm.
The sort of business of like we're commenting on the nature of horror cinema as we do it, that increasingly sort of leaves me behind.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'll probably see this, to be honest, like for completionism's sake. But yeah, yeah, I'm on board.
Cool. Yeah, and for me, look, I'm not gonna not see a Scream movie opening night. That's just not in my nature. Um, but I'm really fucking pissed off at Spyglass Entertainment or whatever their company, whatever the second word of their company name is. Spyglass really shot themselves in the foot uh, because Melissa Barrera, who was the lead of the previous two movies, she posted like pro-Palestine stuff and she got fired,
Oh
and it was a
yeah.
very
Yeah.
Yeah.
complicated situation, and they just never did a make good on that. They never even like it's just they made it so that I have to apologize to friends on social media for being excited about Scream 7 essentially. Like I have to feel like that annoying like modern day like oh, am I problematic? And I'm like, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
uh, guess whose name is on all of the first four Scream movies? Harvey Weinstein. Like, it kind of, it's this is still better than that.
I mean, it's a
Um,
series that originated in what, 1996? So
yeah.
like, yeah, yeah, Harvey Weinstein was king of the world at that time.
Oh yeah,
Like,
and
and you
mhm.
can't fault people for being part of a movie that, like, or for liking a movie that I
Yeah.
have a lot of thoughts and they're not coming out of my mouth in a good sequence. So I will shut up.
Yeah, no worries.
Uh, uh,
I'm just saying. Sorry.
sorry. Yeah. My attitude a lot of the time is, there are thousands of people whose names are in the credits of any given movie. You can't sort of like hold yourself morally accountable for all of them.
Yeah,
Like there are obviously sort of edge cases, but I think
Hmm.
yeah, like a lot of the time it is sort of a case of there is no ethical consumption.
yeah,
But yeah, for my parts, yeah, I don't know. I'll pay for a ticket. I've paid for tickets to see Disney movies over
yeah.
the years.
Exactly. Like
Exactly.
there's so many evil corporations bringing us movies. I think, and also, I don't think anyone directly involved in the making of this movie is like actively evil in perhaps the way that the Spyglass people have been pretty
Hmm.
consistently, because they also didn't want to pay Nev Campbell to be in Scream 6. So they keep keep shooting themselves in the foot. So that's just fucking annoying, and I'm very mad at them. And I also think that gives this movie a bit of a sense of flop sweat in terms of the sheer amount of cast members that they're trying to bring back from previous installments.
I
Um,
didn't realize until just now that it was Kevin Williamson directing.
yes, it's Kevin Williamson directing, which is
That's
intriguing to me.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
And
never, sorry, yeah.
is Matthew Lillard in this? I think I saw
Yeah.
him on the, and how does that work?
Well, see, that's the question. They're bringing
Okay.
back actors who played dead characters. There are
Yeah.
three, so it's Matthew Lillard and I guess spoiler alert for 2022 and back. Um, but they're bringing back Matthew Lillard and Scott Foley and David Arquette. Um, so they really need to. I'm inclined to trust Kevin Williamson has an interesting concept for what he's doing with these
Hmm.
characters, and it's not just we're back, we didn't die. I
Yeah.
have to trust that it's not that, because annoying fans have wanted Ghostface to be Matthew Lillard again, for many many years, and I think that's such an outrageously stupid idea. Um,
Yes.
so I'm nervous about all of the just yanking on the chain of legacy that they're trying to do. I think that's just like a pretty bad idea. But I'm willing to just place myself in Kevin Williamson's hands and just see what happens with this movie.
I also appreciate that they haven't, this is a continuation of a story and they haven't rebooted and remade Scream. Like
That's true.
that, I like that because that
Hmm.
seems to be the approach that they take with a lot of franchises from my youth these days. And I don't like that.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, anyway,
Cool.
I guess again, that's another movie. Absolutely gonna see it. You'll hear about it from me, I assume, on the airwaves of this podcast. But also this weekend, a bit of counter programming. Speaking of Baz Luhrmann, he is bringing a uncomfortably titled or just like awkwardly titled movie. It's capital E, capital P, lowercase I, capital C, colon Elvis Presley in concert. Um, so Baz Luhrmann Elvis concert doc. I guess is he doing a James Cameron thing where he made Titanic and was like, "I'm the water guy from now on." Is Baz Luhrmann now just the Elvis guy? I don't know.
I
Seems
hope
like it. I
not.
don't know.
I, sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
No, no, go ahead. I had no further thoughts.
I am weirdly excited about this. I think it looks like, I don't know, it's a lot of, I guess, new Elvis footage, or at least the trailer purports that it's new Elvis
Mhm.
footage. Um, which I think is interesting. It's of his like residency in Vegas era. I'm not like a huge Elvis fan or anything, but I did like Baz Luhrmann's Elvis movie. And I feel like
Hmm.
if it's something that grew out of his interest in Elvis and the research he did for that, that it could be interesting. I also think like it's interesting to make a concert doc out of footage that is was not specifically shot to be a concert doc. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? And so this
Hmm.
is actually the movie that I'm most excited about in February.
Ooh.
Oh man.
With maybe one exception in limited release, but like this
And
is
we'll get there.
yeah. Yeah. Looks like fun.
Um, I, I don't have any particular like designs on this. I'm not a huge Elvis fan, although I do love Burning Love. That's a great song. Um, my
It's
my late uncle, of whom I was very fond, was like an Elvis super fan back when he was alive. So I don't know, maybe this is something I'll sort of check out in his memory.
Oh.
Other than that,
aw.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like it's good music. I have nothing against it, and but concert films usually aren't my forte.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you. Not a big concert film person. Certainly not a big concert film in the theaters person, although I'm sure that's like a
Yeah.
really cool experience if you like them. Um, but I like that this exists. It seems like it could be something for people who like such things. But yeah, as Cameron hinted, we are at the end of our list of wide releases. Let's take a little bit of a look at these smaller releases that are coming out in February, and kind of point at them. Anyway, Cameron, you seem to be excited about what you're picking from the roster. What are we
I
talking
think
about?
it's gonna be the same that you picked, so I don't want to steal this from you.
Steal it from me.
Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm excited about this Pillion movie.
Yes, oh, you are right. That's mine too. We can
Yeah.
talk about it.
Okay, so I don't have like a very strong basis for being excited about this other than I really like Harry Melling.
Hmm.
I think he makes very like in his post Harry Potter career, I think he makes really interesting choices in movies. Um, and he was the best thing about this movie Harvest that I saw about a year ago, that I was excited about because it was shot on 16 and like looked like, artsy and right up my alley. I thought it was horrible. Some people love it.
Ha.
Um, and he was really great in it. And then Caleb Landry Jones, who's also in a movie coming out this month, was the worst part of that movie.
Oh
And so I
no.
am not excited about Dracula. But Pillion with Harry Melling and Alexander Skarsgård, who is like, yeah, I always like him too. Um, it looks silly. It's like an SN or I guess
Yeah,
BDSM
BDSM.
BDSM love story, and it looks great. Like lots of fun and also kind of sweet, and I don't really know where to expect it to go.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't know that much about the plot of it other than the Alexander
Yeah.
Skarsgård, Harry Melling BDSM of it all. But I'm look, I'm excited about whatever new gay movie is coming out, but I usually tend to be have it's an alloyed excitement sometimes where it's just like, oh, that's gonna be nothing. But this, I'm like, it could be something. I kind of want it
Yeah.
to be the thing that Baby Girl promised it was going to be and completely failed to deliver on.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, but
So
we'll have to
I'm
see.
I'm just now remembering. I thought I'd recognized the title, and I'm just now realizing where I'd heard it before. I think my sister saw this a few weeks ago.
Oh.
Ooh.
It Yeah, I think it had a limited release here. So I I'm sort of letting her down here because I fail to remember what she said about it. I My sense is that she liked it.
Okay.
I feel like she said it was good. So I'll need to text her and confirm that before this goes out.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, no, I'm excited about that. What about you, Andrew, though? Is there a smaller release that isn't Pillion that you're excited about?
So in the short answer is no, but in the absence of anything else to really talk about, the one I'm kind of that caught my eye is Luc Besson's Dracula,
Ah.
which I'm just kind of like, why?
Yes,
Because
why?
like
Exactly.
I think it seems like this has been in the pipeline for a while. And I know that Luc Besson, he's one of the sort of like old guard of French cinema whose star has somewhat fallen. I think he's pretty canceled these days, isn't he? But
I
I
don't
just think
actually know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
in the wake of Nosferatu, like it just seems like this kind of like broad take on the Dracula mythos seems played out. Like after Renfield, the one with Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas
Hmm.
Cage a couple of years ago, like like push the sort of camp of the Dracula mythos just like to its outer limit. Like I feel like this kind of like high-spirited like adventure movie kind of claptrap take on Dracula just doesn't really have much of an audience anymore. And I'm always happy to see Christoph Waltz. Like that's what I will say. And I feel like between this and his role in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, it almost feels like he's playing the same character. But he always feels kind of at home in a gothic um in a gothic horror story in this sort of like Mad Doctor Van Helsing type. So I don't hate that. The the film, based on what I've seen in the trailers, there are a couple of shots in this trailer, and I say this with love, look kind of like what I would expect in a Philip J. Cook film. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't
I feel
know.
like if they should have held this for another year or something. I think Nosferatu still looms too large in like popular culture
Held
for
it for
another
another year and
Dracula.
done a lot
Yeah,
more post-processing on the effects shots.
Yeah, and what is
yeah.
it about fallen European directors in Dracula? Because Dario Argento made that Dracula like
Right
what
enough,
15,
yeah.
20
Oh
years
yeah.
ago.
I didn't see
Like
that.
I'm trying to keep a flowchart of character of actors who have played different roles in the Dracula mythos. I know that
Ooh.
at this point Nicholas Hoult has played both Harker and
Yeah,
Renfield,
Hmm.
yeah.
and also the Rutger Hauer has played both Dracula and Van Helsing.
Oh
Oh,
So
that's
yeah.
I don't
funny.
know.
I like I like that.
I just try to keep a running tally of these.
Oh yeah,
Sounds like
I'm
a
there's got to be
thesis you
more.
could write.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. They're out there.
Um Yeah, and since we kind of had some overlap on the smaller releases, I will also very briefly point to there is a zombie apocalypse high school movie called This Is Not a Test. It looks very generic. I'm gonna go see it. But the thing that is most interesting to me about it is that it was shot in Hamilton, Ontario, which is where they
Oh,
shot the zombie town sequences of the zombies movies.
Oh wow.
Um, so that's where Zed lives. So I'm excited to see a more serious zombie movie kind of set in the same area.
you'll have to let us know if it's all purple and green.
Oh, I will. I will let you know. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us. There's nothing else we're looking at in February.
No,
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
honestly, there was more to talk about than I was kind of thinking, but yeah, still pretty slow start to the year. So yeah, that's gonna do it for us. You can find more episodes of this show and others at alternateending.com. Join the Patreon. Patreon gets you access to things like trivia night, early access to Tim's reviews. Depending on if there's any left, you can have Tim write a review of your choice, things like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, Cameron and Andrew, where can people find you out on the internet if you want them to? Cameron, where do you want to start?
Sure. Well, my Babysitters Club podcast, Stony Brook Reunion, just started re-release or not re-releasing, releasing the second half of our fourth season. We're sort of in a slower cadence of releasing than we had been before for lots of reasons. So that you can find on any podcast platform, or I think most of the podcast platforms. And yeah, that's about it. I've been trying to log everything I see on Letterboxd, so that's I'm at I think just Cameron Shaw on Letterboxd. Yeah.
Great. And how about you, Andrew?
Likewise, Cameron, I'm on Letterboxd. I believe you can find me just Andrew Milne. If you search that, you'll land on me somehow. One thing I did want to point towards is my write-up of Too Old to Die Young, the Nicholas Winding Refn TV series is now live. It went live on thegoodsreviews.com just a couple of weeks ago as of the time of recording, and I'm very proud of it. And it's a very intensive write-up that I did about that. So if weird, surrealistic crime TV sounds like your thing, go and give that a look, please.
Hell yeah, do it. Check it out. And that's going to do it for us. So, bye.